This video is going to focus on the Sub-GHz app on the Flipper Zero. I'm running the Momentum firmware, which has rolling code support. The stock firmware does not. So what is the Sub-GHz app? The Sub-GHz app on the Flipper Zero is essentially a tool for working with radio frequencies in the 300 to 928 megahertz range. So sub-gigahertz literally means under 1 gigahertz, which is 1,000 megahertz. So it can receive and decode signals like remote controls, key fobs, wireless doorbells, and stuff like that. In terms of reading signals, there are two modes, and I'll show them to you. There's read, and then there's read raw. So the difference between the two is read attempts to decode signals that are using known protocols. Read raw captures and saves raw signal data, which is useful for unknown protocols or more complex signals. So saved signals can be replayed and transmitted using the Flipper Zero. So you can emulate whatever you have saved. It also has down here a frequency analyzer, and I'll get to that in a second. But you can either emulate a known protocol or you can replay a raw captured protocol. And the Flipper Zero uses the CC1101 transceiver chip and has a range of approximately between 30 to 60 meters. And to be more specific, the frequency bands are 300 megahertz to 348 megahertz, 387 megahertz to 464 megahertz, and 779 to 928 megahertz. So some common uses of this include testing security of wireless systems, cloning remote controls or fobs, analyzing unknown sub-gigahertz signals, and creating custom remote controls. Now, I must give a disclaimer that the sub-gigahertz capability should only be used ethically and legally. Unauthorized access or interference with other people's devices is illegal in almost every single jurisdiction. So, let's do an example of the read function. So I'm going to open up read. It's already picking up my weather station, but I'm going to press the lock button on my alarm system that I have in my room. There's motion sensors outside with the alarm in my room. And there you go. It's picking it up as a Princeton B18B04. So if I select that, it's going to tell me all the details, that it's a Princeton 24-bit. It tells you the frequency, so it's 433.92. And if I go to save, which I'll do, I'll just save this. Now I can go into the saved signals section. And I can go like this, and I can emulate that signal. So once I do that, you'll hear the little beep for my alarm. And there you go. Sorry, I had to unlock it before I sent the lock signal. That's why you didn't see there. I'm gonna do that one more time. So I'm gonna unlock it, and now I'm gonna lock it. There you go. So I'm gonna delete this because I don't need it. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the read raw function. So if I start recording and I hit the unlock button, you'll see that it just recorded that signal. So I'm going to save that signal. I'm going to go into the saved signals, click on that, and you'll see that the screen is different for the read raw. It doesn't show you all the bit size and all that stuff. It just shows you the name you saved it under. So if I click the send button, there you go. It sends the signal. Now I'm going to show you the frequency analyzer function. So if you need to figure out a frequency for a certain fob or for a doorbell or for something and you don't know what the frequency is, you're going to go to frequency analyzer. And now if I press the lock button, it's showing that it's 433,974. But that's really 433,920. So yeah, so that shows you what the frequency is. To do a quick recap, the read function will decode known signals, known protocols, sorry. So as I said, this is showing that it's a Princeton B18B04. If I go to read raw and I hit record and I hit the lock button and then I hit the unlock button and then stop, save it, and then I go back into saved and I click on it and I send the signal. There you go. It sends it. So there you go. That's the Sub-GHz app explained briefly. Don't forget to download all of my Sub-GHz files that I posted to the group, and that will give you a variety of different signals. So as you can see, vehicles, Tesla, stores, miscellaneous, jamming, handicap, gates, gas stations, garages, doorbells, and all that stuff. All right, folks, catch you on the flip side. No pun intended.